In this episode, we're going to be interviewing Paige Britton, our local and expert nutritionist, practitioner, NTP, formerly nutrition therapy practitioner. Yes.
Yes.
And this is meant to get an insight into Paige and who she is as a practitioner, to find out how she got to where she is and just get to know her a bit more. Of course, she's an expert. I agree that she's an expert, but want to hear her story and let everyone listening hear her story. And because I think our path here matters, our story, our origin story matters. And I think we're going to find out a lot about you, Paige. So I've got some random questions to get things started. This is not supposed to be formal by any means. It's just supposed to be a conversation between the two of us. So first of all, would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh, yes, I would love to. Well, you already kind of did.
Well, you got to do it again.
Yeah, doing it again. So my name's Paige Britton. Hello.
There it is.
That's it.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll start there.
Where's your last name from?
What do you
What's
mean?
Britton? Like, what is?
Oh, like what? So
What's your married name, right?
Yeah. So yes, I got married.
When did you get married?
I got married in 2021.
So wonderful man named.
Yes, Dylan. Yes. Okay, I see where this is going.
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
We're opening up. Yep, I got married. 2021, kind
So
of
about
crazy.
4 years ago of this
Yeah.
recording. Okay.
After COVID, so that was just like
boy.
interesting time planning a wedding, trying to figure out if we were going to have one and all of that. So
How long did y'all date before you got married?
2017.
Wow.
2018.
You really knew by then.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
this is my man.
Yeah. We actually worked together, which is never.
That's lame.
That's never a good thing.
I don't think I knew that. Where?
So I worked at a pharmacy, a compounding pharmacy.
Yeah.
And
It's okay to say their name. They're a good pharmacy.
Yeah, I guess so. B&J Pharmacy, and they have a sister store, Wimberley Pharmacy.
One of our patients likes B&J. I didn't.
Yeah.
I think you've told me that before and didn't register.
There's several people that I've kind of like know through the grapevine. Like we're all just this big web around Austin.
All us weirdos stick together.
Yes, you definitely do. But yeah, I started working there as supplement, wellness specialist, as they call it. So outside of college, and Dylan worked there as a pharmacy technician. So just
Love at first sight.
Like,
there
hello.
he was making drugs.
Yeah, it was bad. So we ended up having to, not because of our behavior.
Sure. Making out in the back room.
Right. Yeah. So we had to work at different stores. So we worked for the same people, but different stores.
A little too much blushing on his side, right?
Yeah, it was just hard to work, pretty much. So it was fun. I definitely understand why working together is not.
Yeah.
It's too much. I want to go home and you're there too. And then, so it's been nice to have a new job.
So who left B&J first?
I did.
Oh.
I did.
So you were the problem.
Yeah.
Got it.
I don't know, Oubre. I remember that day too. I had already seen some of your YouTube videos.
Oh, really?
I think I've told you this before.
I don't know that I remember it. Tell me again.
Tell it again. Yeah. It was during COVID. That was like the main time.
Okay.
And so I was like, who is this guy? What is he? What are you saying?
And
Like,
how did
what's
you
going
stumble
on?
across
Don't
my
ask
YouTube
me.
channel?
No idea. I
Okay.
just social media. Again, this web of people, you just,
Yeah.
yeah. And so I stumbled upon your website and I was like, I want to work there. How do I work there? So yeah, that was in 2020. And then, just kind of kept my LinkedIn open. And then I just get an email one day that there's an opening and I panicked, freaked out, was like, oh my gosh, got to get all my things together. And updated all my things, cover letter, the whole nine yards, sent it off and hyperventilated. And then, it just happened so fast. I was not expecting. I was like, oh yeah, that's somewhere that I'd want to work in maybe a couple of years. Cause I had just gotten my, NTP and I was just starting to kind of practice. And so I was like, well, I gotta do it now. And I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I'm going to ask some specific questions about you joining because that was a interesting time of business and we're surprised you stuck around because we were in chaos, not you. Okay. And so So tell me more about home life with Dylan. Y'all got married, and
Yeah.
he now works at Stonegate. What was the transition there?
Yeah, for sure. So, long story short, kind of.
Sure.
Just been in that position for a long time. He'd kind of been in the pharmacy world since like high school and just dabbling in it, and then graduating college, still not, ready for a change kind of thing. And then just kind of dramatically left.
Because Stonegate's kind of an upgrade for him, right? It was a bit of a promotion.
Yeah.
It's more than just pharmacy tech checking people out.
It is.
He's now compounding and sterile compounding now.
Yeah.
Right?
And that was one of the bigger issues.
No growth.
Yeah, feeling stuck. And
At
then
B&J. I mean, it's a small pharmacy.
super small.
They're doing their thing, and they're
So-
not they're not going to do much more.
Yeah, I mean that community, Wimberley, is pretty small, and they do really well at what they do, but it's
Right.
Just this place. And knowing him, he's very social, and he was in
Yeah,
that
he is.
room by himself all day, so it was just not a good environment. And so just branching out.
And
Now
Stonegate's a flourishing pharmacy,
Golly.
always trying to do anything new that they can
Yeah.
get their hands on.
It's a lot, which is perfect for him. So
Yeah.
he's already kind of made up the ladder, and now he's over the sterile and all that good stuff. So
Very good.
yeah,
Very good.
he's happy now.
Yeah,
for
good,
sure.
good. Okay. So I know a little bit about the animals in the house. Would you like to
my
tell us about your animals?
Okay, so Dylan and I dated for 1 month and then got a cat together.
Oh
Yeah.
boy, that was not well planned out. So
It felt
Laura's
good at
already
the
told
time.
me that she's laying claim to our whiskey cat, and I told her that I drove him home. She was in the passenger seat. He's mine, so she just
Well,
better not leave.
They'll pick whoever.
No,
That's what happens.
I'm taking.
Well, they'll make sure it's named.
This has not been settled in our house, as you can tell. Okay,
they're
so
just
y'all
so
got a cat.
precious.
What kind of cat?
We did. Again, another long story short. Our friend had a cat that
Okay.
got pregnant
Okay.
from the neighborhood cat.
Oh,
And
skank.
anyway, it's a whole thing. We already yelled at her for not having her cat, fixed and everything. So anyway, we helped her out and we took one of the kittens.
How many did she have?
There was like 6.
It's always amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like taking care of one human child is hard enough.
Yeah.
How do you take care of 6 kittens
I-
in the wild? Well, I mean, I guess this one wasn't in the wild, but okay. Yeah. So
I
you took
know.
one.
We
Little
did.
baby kitten.
It's
Fell in love.
yes, my first cat. I didn't
Really?
grow up with cats.
Really? Like ever?
No,
Wow.
not a cat
So
person.
you didn't even know you were a cat person.
No.
Okay.
Until-
And that's what started the crazy cat lady.
I mean, yeah.
Okay. Tell us more about crazy
Every
cat
person
lady.
I've talked to, this is how it happens. You start with one.
The starter kit.
And then that one has to have a friend.
Right.
And then, you have to have another one. So
You know it's a problem when it hits 3. 2 is safe.
I know.
3 is a problem.
It sounds bad, but that's just where we are.
Okay. So
So-
we're up to 3 cats.
We're up to 3 cats.
How long? What was that progression? Like, got it at 1 month of dating, and then
Yeah.
2 months of dating, and 3 months of dating, or was it that
It was
quick?
a little bit better than that.
Okay.
No, we got, so our first cat, his name's Blue,
Oh.
like the cheese.
Ah.
Blue cheese.
I can throw no stones. We named our cat Whiskey for.
Well, that's a cool name. I mean, Blue's cool
Is it
too.
though, or does it mean
Yeah.
you're a potential alcoholic and need to have a discussion with a therapist?
You said that. I didn't say
We're
that.
not, just so everyone watching. We like
I'm just
whiskey, but
No, that's a
we keep
cute
it under
name.
wraps.
I love that. They usually
He's
live
got
up to
many
their name.
nicknames: Whiskers and
Yeah.
Whiskey Cat, and
See, that's
Yeah.
really cute.
Yeah.
I love that. No, we had Blue for like a
Blue?
year.
and
I
he's
guess.
not blue.
He's like kind of. He's like a gray, like a dark gray blue.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. Does he at least have blue eyes?
No,
Okay.
he's kind of crazy. But oddly enough, that's his mom, the same cat of our friend that had this cat that had Blue. Blue's mom.
Okay. Oh, you
With me now?
you also have Blue's mom now.
No, I'm saying Blue's mom had another litter.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. I was like, okay, this lady really doesn't like cats. She gave away her mom.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
So she still didn't get her fixed.
No.
She knows how these things are made, right?
Yeah. So that's a whole another thing. But so she had another litter with a different dad,
Oh.
I think. I don't know.
Where's Jerry Springer when you need him?
No. So anyway, we took one of those
Or I guess
cats.
Maurice. Wasn't it Maurice that did all the paternity stuff?
Oh, yeah. Well, I think it's both. But
Yeah.
anyway. Yeah, so they're brother and sister, but from 2 different litters.
Yeah, so I guess that is still brother and sister.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, we don't say like my little brother from a different litter.
No, you don't.
So
you
it's still
don't.
brother and
So how
sister.
does that work? Yeah.
Well, I guess
That's
that would be
interesting.
not fraternal twins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the third cat,
Well, we named her Feta.
Feta, blue Feta.
Yeah.
I'm sensing a trend.
So that made sense. That was going to be it. That
And our second was
you
Luna.
know.
There's no relation to Whiskey at all.
That's-
Laura's granddaughter named her Luna.
That's really pretty.
That's a great name.
Yeah.
And it fits her. She's kind of lunatic, so
Oh.
she's got
Get
nicknames
that.
too.
I like that. No, that was going to be it. We also, Dylan has a dog.
Wait. I still haven't heard about the third cat.
Well, okay, I got to back up. Dylan had a dog before we started dating. And so
Okay. And
Mick-
that's his for sure.
Yes, and he's still there. So we have a dog and 2 cats. I got to paint the picture.
Still there. That didn't sound like happiness. Like, oh, we're so
Aw.
glad he's still with us and
Yeah.
around. He
Oh my
still
God.
exists. His
Dylan's gonna
presence
kill
is
me
known.
for saying
Yes,
that.
he will be watching
I
this. So.
love my dog. That's not what I mean.
Why are your fingers crossed outside of the camera?
Don't know.
Uh-huh. Mick.
No.
There's no cheese named Mick.
No, he just came with that name. So his original name from the pound was Radiohead. So
Not my favorite band.
Yeah.
Okay. Got
Anyway,
it.
so I don't know. We had that for a couple years, and then during COVID, we had some friends ended up staying with us during quarantine, and she had a cat.
And left it behind.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I forgot to
Yeah.
get my cat.
There's a longer story to that, but basically, yes, we adopted him. So, and we couldn't not adopt him.
Okay.
So, and
It
his
wasn't
name,
as thief. You didn't steal him. Like,
no,
where did he
I
go?
promise. He also wanted to stay,
Ah.
so it's fine. But yeah, so his
And-
name's Andre.
Andre. The cheese thing broken down.
Yeah, it just
Okay.
is what it is. So yeah, now we have a house full, and it is what it is.
Literally.
Yeah,
Full house. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that was a fun little.
yeah,
So we're currently at 3 cats.
yeah.
1 dog. That's all. Actually, that's more than a full house. And
It's a lot.
3 and 2.
I know.
Okay, so now we know a little bit about Paige
Yeah.
and her crazy animal story at home.
That's my whole life.
So I guess we got to get into the serious questions. What inspired you to become a nutritionist?
Oh boy, that's a classic question.
Mm-hmm.
I think you'd probably have maybe similar responses, like for you on what started
Mine's
your journey.
not as exciting. you
Really?
know.
I'm not going to
Functional
make
medicine
mine
found
exciting.
me. I didn't find
yeah,
it.
yeah. I think a lot of people say that though, because ultimately you go in with the mindset of, all right, this is what I'm going to do, and you kind of get there and it's not what you thought, so you have to make a decision on what you're going to do about it. But yeah, that's kind of what happened to me. I mean, I always have been interested in science. I just want to know how things work. I cannot take I don't know for an answer. It just doesn't sit well. Always wanting to kind of understand.
I think anyone that landed in functional medicine at some point has to have that mindset because this is a completely different way of thinking. We
Yeah.
were not taught it. I definitely wasn't in conventional medical school. So I run into so many patients, practitioners, doctors, and if they're closed-minded, they never find it.
Yeah.
They find their version of something and they stick to it. I talk about my little brother all the time. He doesn't mind me talking about him, but he's a conventional doctor through and through. He has no interest in functional medicine. He sees what I do, knows what I do, but A, it doesn't interest him, and B, he can get away with conventional medicine because he's in the hospital sense. So
Right.
about the only place that really conventional medicine really belongs is in the hospital. So he gets away with it and it's fine, but he doesn't know anything about what we do because he was never taught it, and he's not interested and not open-minded enough.
That's just so interesting because to me, that's when everything made sense. You know, I think just starting out learning about health and nutrition, it's just like, okay, we're still trying to figure this out. And even towards the end of my studies. So I actually went to school.
Yeah. So back that train up. So
yeah.
you went to college for.
I was going to be a dietitian.
Okay. So you already knew that.
Yep.
Coming out of high school, you were going to college to be a dietitian.
I mean, pretty much. I mean, I kind of changed a little bit. At first, it was like a dentist. And then I was like, okay, obviously I'm not doing that. That's weird,
It's
I
not.
Yes, it is. I went and
For
shadowed
you,
a dentist.
I guess maybe, yeah.
Okay,
I
go
can't see
shadow
you being a
one,
dentist.
and you're just like, never mind.
Yeah, I just
I'm
went to the
good.
dentist yesterday, so it's very fresh in what he did.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Not my field either.
No, and then maybe like PA school, like that whole thing, and I was just like, this is just not what I want to do, and so I remember taking this big old book from Texas State and just going through it, like all of
all the
just
career
everything.
options.
And I was like, what the heck am I doing?
Were there pictures?
I don't freaking know. Probably. I was having a crisis. And because I'd already been in school for like 3 to 4 years. I've had all this like base work, and I just need to figure out like.
Meaning in college. So
in college.
Okay, so you're teleporting us forward.
Like, man, what am I
And where'd you go to college?
doing? Well, I got my associate's degree in science from Tyler Junior College.
Okay.
Great plan, by the way.
Yeah,
Just knock
that worked.
those out and just figure it out. And then I transferred to Texas State.
Okay.
And then just, trying to figure it all out.
Okay.
So
And where'd you go to high school?
In Tyler, Robert E. Lee. It's probably not Robert E. Lee anymore, but they renamed it to something.
Probably.
But yeah, so born and raised Tyler, Texas.
Okay. We won't judge you.
Yeah, I'm not going back there.
I'm from way worse. So
Yeah.
at least you were in Texas.
I don't know.
I got here as soon as I could.
It definitely, when I go back to visit, I realize why I'm not
How
living there
spoiled we
anymore.
are.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I love it down here. But yeah,
Okay. So we're finding out the path to it.
Yeah.
One of the things I think you really need to specifically touch on, because it is part of your story too. You mentioned dietitian, and pretty much everyone listening, unless they're in medicine, has no idea what the difference between dietitian and NTP and nutritionist and all that means.
Right.
And so it's way too much for this element, but give us a short version of like, what are the kind of top 3? If someone says they're in nutrition, these are the top 3 titles they'll tell you. And what does that mean to you?
Oh, that's such a good question.
That's a good question, right? Pretty.
Yeah.
That one was not ChatGPT. I actually
was
made that one up.
you.
Yeah.
So proud of you. That was so good. This, so the way I study is almost to a fault. Okay.
Okay.
It's
you
like,
sound like my daughter.
it is obsessive.
Yeah, that's
It is
Olivia.
color coded.
I color coded too.
It's ridiculous. Okay.
Yeah.
So when
I had like 20 different colored pins that I would rewrite.
you have to.
Structure.
You have to have that. Okay.
I don't know what have to, but it worked for me.
Well, no, like you have to, or it feels wrong. so that's where, my mental illness comes from. But it got me this far. So
Correct. Still working.
still working. So going through all of that, kind of literally making charts, like pros and cons of like, okay, what is a dietitian and what is a nutritionist and what is this and that and the other. And ultimately it came down to a very narrow mind like set, unfortunately, of like, okay, I need to make money. Like
That's
that was
important.
like, I've got to, and that was just ingrained from basically my parents. They were
Yeah.
like, okay, you have to make at least this much money or just forget it.
And I think kids these days,
know.
with a skyrocketing cost of college and things, they don't really do the math on, okay, I spent this much to get a degree in this, which makes me this much. Like
Right.
the return on investment was
It's
not
not
really
good,
there.
right?
Yeah.
But that was hard to hear because ultimately, really and truly, the dietitian piece didn't really resonate.
Yeah.
But it was, at least from my research at that time, like where I could make, the most money in that field.
And I think, statistically speaking, that stands true. Dietitians can be hired by hospitals. It's more of a licensed nutritionist.
Correct.
I think it's the only licensed nutritionist that can work at hospitals and clinics and things and get reimbursed by insurances.
Correct.
Everyone else, and I think I'm right by saying everyone else, is going to be more in the, I don't want to say holistic realm, but the alternative realm.
I'd say so.
Because if you see anyone at a diabetes clinic or a hospital, they are almost definitely an RD, right? Registered dietitian. And there's problems with that. And we're gonna do a lump assumption of RDs because based on how they're trained, there are some functional medicine RDs out there, but 99% of them are conventional medicine trained. And I hate to say it, but they are wrong. So tell us about how you didn't go down the RD rabbit hole, even though there was more money, and the cost to get an RD probably wasn't that much different than NTP.
So I had gotten, if I would have gone through with the RD, I would have bypassed all the crap that they have to do now. So
Really?
now you have to have a higher education. I just went blank.
Like master's?
Yeah, a master's.
Really? An RD
And
has to have a master's?
Now they do.
That's a waste.
So,
I mean, good for them for getting education, but just more cost, and you're not really going to learn more about your future job.
well, they portrayed it as there's so many people going into this field, and so I'm like, okay, it's probably they're trying to narrow it down like in that way or something because there's more people than there are jobs for that. That made sense.
I guess.
I mean, yeah, I guess, right? But I didn't have to do that. I was like right at the year or something where they were making that decision. And so ultimately all I had to do, I had gotten all the credits. I was ready to go. I just had to do my internship where it was so many hours you work under someone and then you take the test for the board. And I got to the internship and I hated it. I hated it so much.
So you showed up. You were there.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
What did you hate about the RD internship?
It was
Be
lying.
honest.
Yeah, well, being honest, it was lying. I mean, it didn't make any sense. All this stuff that we had learned, which by the way, Texas State has an awesome nutrition program.
Wish I could say that about my med school. It was
so much.
terrible. We did nothing.
So
1
bad.
hour, and I remember sleeping through it.
That's so bad
It was
and unfortunate,
I mean,
right?
1 hour on all the hours we take in a month. It was maybe 3 questions on the test. Like, I'll focus on the other stuff I'm good at.
All that energy for
Yeah.
ugh, that makes me
But then
so
I had to
sick.
do it all after med school residency. So
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I learned so much. I mean, some of my favorite classes were, like food science and like just figuring out what's in food, how does that affect you, how is that healing, all of that kind of stuff. And so all of that, then going and working, and you're just doing like formulas, and like how many grams of this does this renal patient need, and I'm like, okay, but did you see what you just fed them? Like Jell-O, and like you're still making the macros fit, but the food doesn't make sense.
Right.
And it's boring. And like all these, it's a hospital setting. It's depressing. I was just, anyway, so you could do that route, or you could go like work for a sports team. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just all these avenues. You could go work on your own. Well, I don't know how to work on my own. I just started.
Yeah.
So that's not an option. And so it just really, I got stuck. So I ended up at that pharmacy as a wellness consultant selling supplements,
Left the whole RD thing, just dropped it cold.
Pretty
went
much.
get a job while you figured your stuff out.
I have all my papers. If I wanted to do it, I could. But it was a really hard decision, especially just my mindset kind of growing up.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I wasted all this money. And like,
Right.
it was.
I worked at Best Buy for a year with a biochem degree. And I remember sitting down with the manager
actually.
and he's like, so this is not a joke. And I was like, what do you mean it's not a joke? No, sir, I'm here. I need a job. And he's like, you have a major in biochemistry. Like you finished. And I was like, yes, sir. He's like, and you want to work at the register? I was like, well,
I need a job.
I need a job.
Oh, no.
And he was like, this is not a joke. And I no, sir, this is not a joke.
That's crazy.
He was a cool guy. But yeah, I worked at Best Buy because when you can't get in med school, you got to get a job doing something. And I did not want to sit in a lab. That was not my thing.
I bet you got some good discounts.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I got new speakers in my truck.
See?
And
Yeah.
movies.
That's what I would have done too. That's really funny. Yeah.
Anyway, that was a depressing point of life. Okay,
No,
go
I'm
on.
sure you got lots of information from working at a register at Best Buy.
Yes.
So
I got conned once. That was very disappointing. Right after I'd put in my 2 weeks notice because I'd finally gotten accepted to medical school. And then someone conned and stole $700 out of my register. And they were like, this looks really suspicious that you just put in 2 weeks. And I was like, look,
interesting.
not my character. No, but yeah, I almost got fired from Best Buy.
Yeah, we'll have to save that for your interview. That's hilarious.
Terrible. Luckily, she hit several other stores, big stores, and so the kind of store managers kind of knew each other. So as soon as that got discovered, it was like, oh, okay, she conned, and we don't really know how I got conned. They showed the picture, and I was like, well, I guess I know who that is, but I mean, I also checked out 100 other
What?
people. So I don't know if I just took my eye off the register or dropped something, or she was distracted. Anyway, so this is your interview.
I'm just so
Moving on.
sorry. That sounds
Yeah,
awful.
so you're working at a pharmacy.
Yep.
With way too much education.
Yeah, and I was feeling it. I
And-
was like ready to. I had many days where I'm like, I can't be here anymore.
Yeah.
This is, and it's nothing against
Except
the
Dylan.
pharmacy. I know. I was like, hey, that's one good thing about that for sure. Right time, right place. But I mean, it felt so defeating. So I had found the NTP, Nutritional Therapy Association. I don't know. Research. I was like, there's something
not
else
a lot of
gotta
you
be
guys out there. Not a lot of
know,
NTPs out there.
there's
More now,
not.
obviously. But
Yeah, more now. It just kind of started. The same people were asking the same questions and they weren't getting answered, and so it just kind of kept bubbling up. And so this association,
right,
is
NTA,
there.
Nutrition Therapy
NTA.
Association. So that's the main. I said 3. Is there a third, like, nutritionist that's out there that's not an RD, not an NTP?
Well, so I don't know. I'm the restorative wellness practitioner too. So I mean,
Okay.
another certification.
Okay,
No,
so not really. Those are the
nutritionist,
two
dietitian. Those
major
are kind of
ones.
those terms.
Okay.
Unfortunately, you can anyone can call themselves a nutritionist,
Right.
Especially in the state of Texas.
Right.
So it's
cannot call themselves a dietitian.
No.
That's a registered, licensed person.
it is.
But anybody that takes a holistic coaching seminar can
Yeah.
call themselves a nutritionist.
They're a nutritionist.
Yeah,
And-
unfortunately, just like functional medicine, anybody can claim functional
Yeah.
medicine with no regulation. They obviously can't say functional medicine doctor unless they're a
Right.
doctor, but they can be a doctor of anything. You can. We've seen doctors of what's the holy people, the religious doctor of some holy thing can call themselves a functional medicine doctor. You're like,
Wow.
really? You didn't even. That's not even a science class. I get you're a doctor, but okay.
That makes it hard,
Yeah.
especially for us. It's like, not that we're out there trying to prove a point, but it's like, and we're not the only ones that are right, but it does bring that level of like trust, in the other person. And so
Yeah.
it just makes it a little difficult.
Okay, so NTP.
Yep.
So started
out,
learning more about that.
Got that,
and-
resonated with that so much.
Yeah, so before,
Yeah.
during, and by the time you finish, how long is NTP?
Back when I took it, it was a 9-month
Okay.
program, and now it's like 13 months or something like
Okay.
that.
Do you feel like the additional curriculum is needed?
I don't know. They added it because there was a need for extra, like, counseling prep. So not the actual knowledge itself, but actually putting that into practice was difficult for a lot of people.
It is. Working with
So,
patients is difficult.
Yeah.
It's hard. I mean, it's why residency exists, because as a med student, you've got a lot of raw knowledge and you still know nothing because there's just so much medicine to learn. But
Right.
a big portion of it is an apprentice
Yeah.
situation. And that's why residency works so well and why there's a stark difference between an MD through residency and an NP/PA. Their clinical experience, apprenticeship is just scatterbrained. It's not, and that's not offensive. It's just true.
Yeah.
They don't have nearly as many hours. I mean, we have a 3-year, everyone knows we work way too many hours, and we've got doctors watching over us, attending physicians that have been doing this many years, watching over us. And in the NP/PA world, they have to go out and find their own apprentice, and
Yeah.
they might spend 1 month here, 2 months there, but ultimately those doctors are working. So they're not, it's not really an apprenticeship as much as it is like you get to work and we'll find 5 minutes to talk after. So
That's
what was NTP like? Was it hand holding, or was it like, good luck, you got the knowledge, see you later?
No, I mean, there's such a great community, lots and lots of, it's like school. I mean, you got office hours, you have your specific, teacher that you can ask literally any question to. So it was very helpful as far as learning in it. And then once you've graduated and got your certification, there's still ongoing support. It's hard because all the knowledge, but then like you need to practice it confidently.
Right.
and who, trying to find people to be like, hey, can I practice on you, basically. So that was really nice to do that at the pharmacy. I had the opportunity to kind of, open my own little tiny business, little area, and just work with people for free.
Yeah. So you were in NTP while still working at the pharmacy.
Yep. So I just basically had to do my normal job, and then if I had extra time, which I had plenty of extra time, be able to work with people that come in and out and just kind of practice off of them. So I'm still getting paid for my normal job, but being able to,
Right.
work on people, I guess.
Right.
That was really
And then they
helpful.
appreciate it too, because then they get a little higher level of education person, but they didn't really have to pay for them.
Yeah. So there's some of that too. That was, I had to get
And then
out
the
of there.
pharmacy makes their money because they're paying you, but they're buying supplements and things off of
Yeah.
you. So
It was fun.
yeah.
But ultimately what happens is that environment is those type of people come in for a supplement,
Yeah.
right? So they have that mindset of, okay, I have this thing wrong with me. What do I take?
Right.
And so trying to get them out of that, I mean, it's not going to work. So
Right. And there's no like plan to follow up. Like, okay, I'll see you in 2 weeks.
I'm like, okay, I'll
Yeah.
see. And then,
I'll
they
see
don't
you
call.
when you're back in the pharmacy and I'm here.
Exactly. So
Okay.
that was frustrating. I
Yeah.
mean, sure, you could create this like awesome business model of like selling supplements or something, but that obviously doesn't feel right.
Right.
And, I want to talk to them about what they're eating and their habits, and they're not interested in
Yeah.
that. So trying to find a way out of that. And that's kind of where, just dreaming and like, what would that look like? And who would I want to work for? And it just kind of happened. I don't know.
So you went straight from B&J Pharmacy to our practice? Mm-hmm. Okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I was with them though for like 6 years.
Yeah, I was going to ask, so what does NTP look like in that 6 year? Was that near the end? So what year was NTP?
2020.
2020. And then
Yep.
you came to work for us 2021?
2022.
So you've been with us 3 years now? Okay. Yeah, that makes sense because 2022 was my hell year. Okay.
Yep.
And okay, so you had been practicing for a good year, kind of getting your bearing straight, figuring things out, and there long enough just to get really frustrated and ready to
Yeah. Like,
knew you had to
man,
jump ship, do something different.
I'd called like every one of my friends, like, can I just like like, I just want, and I'd started doing a little bit of blood work there. There is a clinical nutritionist, the owner of B&J Pharmacy and Wimberley Pharmacy that works there. So I was able to kind of mentor or have a mentor through him, and that was really helpful. So
Good.
he really opened the doors up for me, or opened my eyes, I guess, to like blood work and like saliva testing and just being able to see it. I wasn't necessarily able to like do anything with it, but being able to, get my hands on that and see what kind of person that was, like sit in on his consultations. So I think there's just so much prep work. And I was just like, I need to practice this. Like, get me out of here. And so that's why it's kind of funny now. But when I started here, I had like 2 weeks of training, and then they were like, here's 120 patients. There you go.
Okay,
So I got what I asked for.
So we crossed that bridge. So that's in my notes. So I want to give you full permission to talk about the story and how it actually happened. We'll leave out the names to protect the people that have
so
been in my
funny.
practice and whatnot. But so I'll lay a little bit of the groundwork so you feel totally safe in discussing this. How do I want to say this? Like, we were in bad shape when Paige joined us. We were, I had briefly, I'm trying to not say names. We had briefly teamed up with another practice nearby, and we were going to merge. And with that, we were talking about hiring more practitioners and expanding. And the doc that I was talking to wanted to open 50 practices and 50 locations in 10 years and was ready to flood was ready to financially fund it and all this. So we were in a heavy growth mindset, and that did not happen. Obviously, we were still
It
our
was a
small
crazy
practice.
ride, okay?
Yes.
I like jumped in and
Yes.
was like, all right, well, you know what? I was bored for several years and we're going.
Yeah.
We're going.
So the person that hired Paige was when we hired Paige. This person didn't know this, but we were already nervous about the person that hired you, and we needed an exit strategy to let go of that person if things did not improve. So we hired you a little earlier than we were prepared for, but it's because I can't operate without an NTP or two, and because it was just her, right? And then you were the second. There was no one else at that time.
There was one other part-time person.
Yeah, okay. So that part-time person was kind of a front desk person that was trying to become NTP, and so she was not ready, basically, and we weren't really ready for her to leave the front desk either. So Paige was joining, yes, as a second NTP, but also as the potential replacement. And unfortunately, things did not work out with that person. And within 2 weeks of you being hired,
Yes.
within 2 weeks of Paige being hired, I ultimately had to terminate that employee and let them go, more for personal reasons than NTP. I still think she was a great NTP and is still working out there, doing a great job.
Yeah,
So
she's doing amazing.
big fan of her work. And anyway, that's all beyond. So Paige joins this practice that
Yes.
looks well put together on the outside. I'd like to believe so.
Totally.
And
I was pumped.
and then the world falls apart from under her.
Yeah.
And then, so pick up that story.
Yeah.
Try to leave out the names so we don't incriminate anyone.
For sure. I mean, I just remember, okay, so let me start off by saying this. All my life, there's always something I want to work on and be better at. There's
Good.
always something.
Same.
Yeah, we all should, right? And so ultimately, when this all went down, I remember going home and
Crying.
being like, oh, all right, this is it. Like, I've got to
Do or die.
I've got to get my shit together. Like, and it was stressful because, I ultimately felt like I needed to already know all the things because I had to, because I had 8 people waiting to see me on Monday all of a sudden. And,
Yeah, normally we do shadowing and coaching and
I was under
and
the
teaching
impression
protocols.
there's going to be like 6 months of training.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like
gonna,
2 months of pure shadow,
Yes.
and then
easily,
some patients. But
ease my way in.
when your teacher gets fired,
Well,
you don't have anyone to teach.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was really busy because we had practitioners, nurse practitioner, PA, that I was training, and I was full of patients. And
You're
so
busy.
I did not have the time to train.
For sure. And there were some, leftover employees still. And so we were trying to figure out what we were going to do. And I'm, trying to figure out my place and what is okay and what is the feel of everybody. And it was interesting.
It's crazy.
For sure.
We needed the reset, though, because,
Yeah.
and this has happened to 2 different NTPs of mine over time that were the main staple in the practice, is that the great part about the NTPs I've hired over time is that they've been really brilliant and willing to learn and all that. But unfortunately, what happened to the other 2, not you and Cerise, is they became more and more like practitioners, more and more like doctors, and less like nutritionists. I started following up with my patients, and they were already on the plan, the thing that I was supposed to do, but I felt like their nutrition was not even discussed.
Right.
And you know how it is. If you're not asking a patient what they're eating, they're not confessing.
Yeah.
You're just going to assume like, oh, I put you on the leaky gut protocol, and you're still doing the leaky gut protocol. Well, no, they stopped doing that, and you didn't ask what they were eating. And
Right.
But we even have great patients who eat great nutrition, and if we don't ask them for a few months, it's commonly they've degraded and weren't forthcoming with that information.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I needed that reset because that other person, as smart as she was, she had migrated away from nutrition too much, and that was one of the things I kind of started trying to get the new NTPs, you and these other people that joined us, because ultimately we were up to 4 NTPs.
Yeah.
You being one
We
of
had
the
a team.
4. It was No, it was not.
It was sarcasm.
Though, yeah, those three other NTPs did not make it and did not need to. Should have never been hired if we knew what we knew. But yeah, we needed a reset in our nutrition department in general anyway. So it worked out well because you came in and didn't get any teaching and had to start
No, it
over
was like, you know what?
and had to build it.
Start fresh. And I even remember kind of after all of that major chaotic stuff, I just like went into your office with a notepad and was like, okay, what do you want me to do? Like, what do you, just to have some sort of like, okay, I'm at least doing what I'm supposed to. The
guy that's signing my paycheck says,
like,
okay.
am I doing that okay? And then also, how do I feel about it? And so that was kind of the start.
How did I answer that question?
Well, you were like, what? Like, yeah, I remember you just being shocked, I guess, at that question, and then really was trying to think of what to answer, and ultimately kind of going back to basics of, here's all these things that are assumptions typically that are so foundational that we just assume, again, that these people are doing them, and I just need to know that those things are being done so that way protocols go well, and all the things. We only have so much time,
right?
And then once that's kind of taken care of, then kind of helping guide people just through their journey, because it's hard emotionally and just everything. And that made sense to me. I was like, okay, that makes way more sense than all the stuff I was just told for the past 4 months. So
from the other person,
we're gonna do that. And then just started rebuilding from there. And again, with no path, we're trying different things. We're like, all right, let's create this document situation and see how that goes. Okay, we used half of it, but not really. And so the last couple of years have been kind of like that, which has been great, honestly.
Creating that doc. And so Cerise joined us. So those three we were talking about, they didn't work out. And then Cerise joined us about 2023, because she's been here 2 years now, right?
She started a few months after I did.
Oh, really?
Sort of. Like, I think in the summer, and I had started in like January, February.
Because when she started, it was just you, right?
Yes.
We had dropped off the other three nutritionists.
Yeah. It was basically going to be just us two.
Okay.
And
you found Cerise?
No, I remember.
She found us through LinkedIn.
Interview. Yeah, it was LinkedIn. So that's where you find people, folks.
So. Yeah, it's like, come to work here.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. LinkedIn's great.
Okay. And you and Cerise have just been magical and perfect and everything we need as a company, our patients need. So thank you for being you.
Well, thanks for having us, right?
You guys are great. Our patients love you guys. And y'all are distinctly different, which is interesting.
Yes.
You're both NTPs and you're both great at what you do. We all share, we call it kind of the hive brain. We all kind of share the same knowledge. But we all have different personalities and things. So it's interesting how we work as a group.
It's really fun. I think it's cool to us talk about certain situations, but how we would all approach them maybe a little different. And that's been like really like so much growth in that.
Right.
I think that's really cool for all of us.
We have.
Yeah.
I want to ask another. I didn't get to hardly any of my previous ChatGPT questions. I actually did pretty good. I'm proud of myself. And you're doing great. But I think one of the things I want to first validate and tell people that's different about our NTPs is that our NTPs are not only NTPs. So we battle between the words nutritionist and practitioner for you guys. And I think sometimes we just end up saying nutrition practitioner because when we call you guys nutritionist, patients only think that you're going to deal with food. And that's too narrow-minded. When we call you practitioner, sometimes then they don't understand, like, well, why would I see the doctor and the practitioner?
For sure.
And then sometimes they confuse, like, oh, well, she's an NP, she's a PA, she's going to prescribe, she's going to, like, no. So we really can't find the right word for you guys because you'll do more. And so a traditional NTP that someone may run into in the wild not at a medical.
Yes.
They're going to be, in general, my experience with you guys as far as NTPs is they're doing a lot of functional medicine the right way, and I'm very happy with that. But you guys in our practice have really evolved to another level that's not NTP, beyond NTP.
Yeah.
Because you've been affiliated with a doctor, because y'all see so many labs and stool studies and labs.
Lots of labs.
That you guys, I want to make sure anyone listening that you're not just a regular NTP. You've been here now 3 years. I trust you to read a stool study. I trust you to read a Cleveland Heart Lab panel, hormones, whatnot. And hopefully you don't know everything I do, because then I'm not learning.
Yeah.
You should be learning from me, and I should be learning more. But that being said, if we stacked you or Cerise next to any NTP in the wild, they would be nowhere close. Just nowhere close to what you guys know. So so that was meant to be a question, but I wanted to brag on you first.
Oh,
So
thanks.
what
I'll
would you
take it.
tell people listening that what is the difference between an NTP and what you are now?
Yeah, I think you said it well by the term just of evolution. You said evolve, because that's really what it is. NTP or NTA, that foundation gives you everything you need to then go off of that.
Yeah.
So I mean, labs wouldn't make any sense without that base information.
Right.
Or it would just be harder maybe to
Right.
connect dots. Sure, you could read it, but like really read it. You know, I don't like, we read labs so differently than other practitioners I've just worked with for myself, right? And normally they're like, you know, hey, your B12's low. Here's some B12.
Right.
You know, instead of like, well, why is your B12 low? Let's look at this marker in comparison to this one, and like create this whole web of a story. And so I appreciate that from this practice on putting together, people's story, I guess. But how can you, you know, I think it just comes from self-learning, really and truly. I'm always questioning things,
Always.
you know? So I think any NTP out there, you know, can get here just with practice. There's nothing special about it. It's just asking the right questions. And,
Well, I think
you
one of
know,
the reasons why other NTPs can't get to where you are is unfortunately in functional medicine, everyone wants to be a silo. Like,
Yeah.
so I've tried to hire some NTPs before you guys, and they would say like, well, why would I take that hourly rate when I can charge $150 an hour to a client? I'm like, well, okay, you could charge $150 an hour to a client, but you got to do the marketing, you got to do the website, you got to do the and you're by yourself.
Yeah.
Like you're all by yourself. So I get to benefit from you guys. You guys get to benefit from me.
Yeah.
And we're always all learning, and we multiply each other. We're not additive to each other. Whereas if
100%.
you're out there by yourself, it's hard to learn and grow. I need someone to challenge me. I need someone to offer a different opinion and say, well, what about this? I need someone to go to a conference and say, I learned this. Why aren't we doing that? Or what about this marker? And so I think I've become a functional medicine doctor that many other people can't, because they're by themselves and
Yeah.
they're not working with a team. So
No,
yes,
that's really true. I'm going to piggyback off of that because I think as an NTP alone, let's put it that way, this job obviously would be impossible. Impossible. There's so many, and we're taught really heavily in that program. You stay inside of your scope of practice. You stay inside of your, and so you literally can't even question anything because you're questioning their doctor, which is uncomfortable and all that.
that's a whole nother aspect. Yeah.
And so now I can question their doctor.
Yeah, because you just walk
he's
across the
down
hall and you're like, why'd you do that?
Yeah.
You moron.
Well, a little bit nicer than that, but yes. And I think that is what makes our practice different, because it is hard to work together. It shouldn't have to be. Egos are stupid, and we're just trying to help the same person.
Right.
I don't care who figures it out. They just need to, you know, get better, right? So NTP is a great foundational like piece, and that's why I actually went on to do the restorative wellness solutions program. So that's kind of tagging on to, all right, how can you like thoroughly read labs from a nutritional
Just so we're clear, Paige is
perspective.
full time at our practice.
Yeah.
And she chose to tackle another
Yes, I did.
conference, accreditation, whatever you want to call it.
I did.
And
Let
I
me
didn't
tell
force
you.
her. And
You have my screenshots of my heart palpitations that I sent you. It was stressful. Don't recommend.
And you still have another one to do or something, like it's broken up into pieces, and you're not doing the next one yet. You've taken a bit of a hiatus.
Yeah, and I'm,
And then you're gonna pick it up.
honestly, yeah, just like as they come. I mean, the first one was all about gut health. So just like, all right, let's see what else we can learn about stool studies and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the one I just finished was blood chemistry. So from a nutritional perspective, what are some things that we can do to balance things out? So next things would be like hormones, and I don't know. We'll get there when we get there. But
Okay.
yeah.
We're running out of time, but I want to keep this conversation going and get more. So I've got some chat GPT questions. Let's see.
Great.
So here's a good one, especially because we've talked so much about NTP. And so if
Right.
someone wants to become Paige, what
Yeah.
would they do? So what is one of the biggest misconceptions people have about nutritionists? That's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, you said it earlier. The assumptions, we nutritionists, we get kind of those eye rolls and just, oh, okay, we're gonna talk about food. We're gonna talk about tracking my food. I don't know. It's just this big to do, and I guess nutrition has just been this taboo over the last, I don't know, forever. I guess, and I don't know. It's just irritating. So I think if we can just clean slate and just, make it not all about advertisements and, that whole thing, maybe we can start making a difference in other people.
Yeah. I think if I had to answer that, I would say the biggest misconception of patients coming to our practice as far as nutritionists are, they think it's only food.
Oh, yeah.
And how many times do patients come back to me like, oh my God, Paige is like awesome. Like we talked about so much other stuff. I'm like, I know.
Yeah. We tried to tell you.
That's why she's here.
We tried to tell you. But it's hard to know because you don't know what needs to be talked about.
Right.
Because you can't just teach everyone everything you know.
No.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So
That's
it
what they
just
tried in
comes
med
up-
school. It doesn't work.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. These are good questions. So I'm going to need quick answers on some of these. So on the NTP side still, if you could go back and give your younger self one piece of career advice, what would it be? And I before you answer that, I'd even say like anyone listening that's like, oh, I want to be an NTP. So think that person too. Like, so your younger self or this person watching you and it's like, oh, Paige is so cool.
Oh my gosh. Totally want to be
I want to
me.
be her when I grow up.
Cool. Wow.
3 cats, a dog.
Exactly. I'm like, wow, that life's awesome. My life is awesome. Trust your gut, because ultimately there was a lot of things tugging on me earlier on, but it was the whole money thing or prestige of having that, piece of paper, that if I would have really listened to what I was actually interested in and good at, I love talking to people, and anyway, I think I might have been able to do this quicker, and quicker's not better, but just gotten here sooner.
I've given some people some of that same advice, asking about med school and stuff. And I the one advice I wish I had been given was like, do you know what you're going to sacrifice to get there? And I am glad I did. I don't regret it, especially now that I'm past it.
Yeah.
But it's different. Like you're in college 4 years, med school 4 years, residency 3 years. There's movies I didn't even know came out. There's live. I missed weddings and friends and
that's
babies
awful.
and all kinds of stuff, right? And so I've talked to a lot of people like, if you want that, then there's only one choice, and that will be to sacrifice. But if you don't need to be the one in charge and you're okay with being an NP or a PA and still having a great medical knowledge and great career, maybe not as much pay, not as much cost, then do that route too.
Right.
You've got to follow, like you said, what's in your heart, but make sure that if you're going to medical school, it's not just because you're the lion in the jungle. It's not just for the ego. It's because you need to be that boss, control, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And that's okay, because we need bosses. We need lions in the
do.
jungle, but we need lions in the right way.
Yeah. Agreed.
I'm answering your questions.
I think that's a good one.
Okay, this is a good one.
Oh.
What's your food philosophy in one sentence?
In one sentence?
One sentence.
Okay.
She's
mean-
going to make this like run on with
I
like
know, like,
semicolons and
and-
hyphens and
No, actually, I'm going to make this simple and a little cliche, I think. But eat intuitively.
Ooh.
I
That
stand
was like
behind
4
it.
words.
I
Eat into No, that's
That
like 4
was-
syllables.
Yeah, it was 2 words. Oh, that's amazing. I stand behind it because if you are aligned in your body and if your body's working for you, then listening to what your body's trying to tell you at once, it's going to tell you.
I think that's so well said, Paige. I was going to say the same thing with about 3 sentences.
Okay, yeah.
But you summarized it perfectly. Like, one of the things I think, speaking from NTPs I've seen, is there's the right nutrition plan for the patient, but then there's the right one for the patient.
Right.
Meaning, like, they don't like that food. That's not the right plan for them. It might be the best one for their body, but
Right.
intuitively they know I like these foods.
Yeah.
Intuitively they know I like these foods, but they don't like me.
Yep.
So that's eating intuitively. It's listening, not just saying, I love ice cream, so I'm going to eat ice cream. Like, no.
Yeah.
You love ice cream, but ice cream doesn't love you.
Yep.
And so you should break up.
And you're not listening.
Right. So that eating intuitively is
Yeah.
fairly brilliant, but it does require listening to your body and not just like, well, no, I like ice cream. I don't know what you're talking about. I feel fine.
I'm not saying ice cream's not going to taste good again.
Better.
Just
Otherwise, why are
saying.
you eating it?
Yeah.
What's a common nutrition myth you wish would disappear forever?
Oh my gosh.
One,
Fat,
you only
fat
get-
makes you fat.
Oh,
Yeah. That's
you're,
just always
you're
going to
good
be
at
it.
this.
Yeah.
You're so
I
freaking
know
good.
all this stuff. We get in there and the medical questions, they're super interesting, but I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't know any of it.
So since that's the myth, fat
Yeah.
makes you fat.
Yeah.
You gotta explain it because
It's sugar.
still to this day, people don't understand. I was just talking to my stepson. He's like, I'm eating so clean. I got this low fat Greek yogurt. I'm like, "Rah."
Oh my God.
He got blowed up on.
Yeah. No, it number one, it's very straightforward. The science is there. I don't know why we're still talking about it.
Can you believe the heart healthy diet? If you
move
go into the
on.
hospital with a heart attack right now, they put you on a heart healthy diet, and that is low fat, high carb.
Hence why I'm not a dietitian.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying? It's just, it's crazy. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing to argue. I almost get frustrated when people try to ask about that still, like in sessions. They're like, well, I shouldn't eat eggs and I shouldn't eat bacon because of the fat. And I'm just like, I don't even want to have this conversation. Like, just eat them, you know? But no, we know now sugar is the culprit for things like that. But
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
What's your stance on cheat meals?
we've got to change our terminology around food, really. I mean, you can call it whatever you want, but
Yeah.
when you put labels on things, your brain is so powerful and it leans into that. So now every time you eat something that you consider a cheat meal, you also intuitively know that this is bad. And that just I mean, if you're eating a meal that's like a salad that's beautiful and super nutritious and healthy, but you're in a negative headspace and you're taking in that food,
I don't want to eat this, but I have to.
guess what? You're not going to absorb it very well. You're
Yeah.
not going to digest it very well.
Yeah.
So cheat meal.
If we're going to eat it, you're going to enjoy it.
Yes.
And you're not going to feel guilty about it.
No.
And you're going to live with whatever consequences come from that meal. And you're going to accept it. That's our general rule.
That is it.
Yeah.
Food
but
is information.
If you're going to eat the food, please enjoy it.
Yeah.
Don't eat bad food with guilt. Makes it even worse.
It really does. One of the things that some of the younger patients really resonated with, so I might try it with adults now, is that food is information. So whatever you're giving yourself, we want to nourish our body with it. But think about it. If we're eating ice cream, what are you nourishing? You're nourishing your brain, dopamine. So maybe we need to visit that. So you can see how this just gets into a nice little therapy session by the end.
Yes, it does. So we're running out of time. But what's the biggest mistake people make when trying to eat healthy?
Thinking too hard about it. The simple answer is it real, whole food? And if it's not, then we need to retry.
Okay, couple more fun questions. If you had to eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Meal?
Meal.
Tacos.
Texas.
Totally.
So similar, but what's your go-to comfort food when you're having a bad day?
Oh my God. Okay. It's the Sate brand potato chips
Really?
in the Fuego flavor. I
Really?
ate a whole bag last night.
Those
wanna
are so
talk
good.
about
I
it.
got the nacho regular siete chips. By the way, they're everywhere now. We were in Podunk, Idaho,
Really?
and found siete chips.
That's
Yeah,
bad.
it's amazing.
Ugh, they're my weakness.
What's the most bizarre food you've ever eaten?
Bizarre food. I'm not like very adventurous when it
Really?
comes to weird food.
No, like rotten eggs or anything?
No. I love food and like culture and stuff like that,
Like
but that's not
octopus
weird.
or...
That's not weird though.
Yeah, it is. Name the last time you've eaten an octopus. Alligator, shark.
Okay. I mean, yeah, we went to a sushi, like an omakase sushi, where they like
Bless you.
serve you. Thank you. Serve you whatever the chef is making. And so yeah, there's all kinds of stuff I didn't know what it was.
Okay.
I guess that's kind of
Yeah, that
crazy.
works. That works. I like this one just because I know the answer.
Oh.
Coffee or tea?
Well, I'm forced my answer to be tea. I was a barista for my very first job. So I drink a lot of coffee, but it does not like me. So tea it
But
is.
we love it.
It smells so good.
Okay, last one. I don't know why this is such a controversy. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yeah. Have you tried it?
I've eaten it. It's still not my favorite. Like, I'm always surprised at like people that actually order that at a restaurant. I'm like, really? That's the when you're at a buffet and you're like, okay, I'm gonna grab the one slice of pineapple and
Yeah.
just say I did it. Like, okay, but
They
I
order
can't
it.
see myself getting just a pizza with pineapples in. What's the typical
Yeah.
is pineapple and something else, right?
Yeah, Canadian bacon, I think.
Ah, there it is.
It's the Hawaiian.
Yeah,
It's classic.
it is classic, but I can't see myself ordering it. If they accidentally dropped it off the table, I would eat it.
I would totally eat that too.
As long as it was gluten free. Okay, well, I think we've done a good job of getting to know Paige
Yes.
Britton, and she did very great. For anyone
Thanks.
watching, if they didn't know, Paige is very nervous on camera.
I
but
hate the
you
camera.
can't tell. You did fantastic.
Great.
Everyone's gonna love you.
They're
Everyone's
so
gonna
great.
want to be Paige Britton. We're gonna be getting emails like, "How do I be Paige? Can you fire her so you can hire me?"
Incredible. Incredible. We'll see if that happens.
So, thank you for your time, and just to put it on camera, we love you, Paige.
Oh,
You're
thank
such
you.
a great human being.
I love
A
that.
wonderful NTP. You
Thank
serve our
you.
patients so well.
Yeah.
And you're never allowed to leave. I will
'Kay.
nail you to the ground.
Okay.
It's tile floor, so maybe to the wall.
Okay.
But yeah,
I
tie you.
accept. It's fine. We can agree
Don't worry,
on that.
we'll feed your cats at home, or we'll just bring them here. It's okay.
Awesome.
All right, Paige. Thank you so much for being who you are.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.